Hello, 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 and welcome back to the Foreclosure Deals Coach podcast. This is the show where we help you to find, figure, fund, fix, and flip a foreclosure deal with a minimum profit of $25,000. I love saying that. I love the idea of people changing their lives through flipping foreclosures. What would 25 grand extra do for you right now? Think about that. I'm not talking about winning the lottery or getting lucky gambling or, having to sell one of your big assets. I'm talking about taking a concept, okay, the idea of a dilapidated, rundown, foreclosed property and turning it into a $25,000 profit. And as if that wasn't exciting enough, I'm talking about creating a system for you where you can repeat that process over and over and over again as many times as you want to. Doesn't that sound amazing? Well, it could be your reality, and we're going to talk a little bit more about how that can be the case right here on today's show. So the topic of the show was, what is a remodeling consultant and how can they help you to effectively flip foreclosures? Let's take a trip back in time a little bit, shall we? When my wife and I first started doing foreclosure deals, we realized that it's kind of a divide and conquer type situation. See, I'm really good at 3 parts of our 5-part strategy. Once again, that's find, figure or analyze, and fund. And then the property had to be fixed, which needless to say is a huge amount of moving parts, right? And then you have to flip the property or sell it on the market to make your profit, okay? So we divided and conquered. I handled the first 3 of locating properties to buy, analyzing those properties to make sure we believe they were good deals, and then funding them using my network of hard and private money lenders. Once I owned the property, lucky for me, mind you, I was able to transfer them over to my lovely wife, Laura, who would take over and get the property fixed up and sold. Now, she's a visionary like I am, and that's good and bad, right? Having 2 visionaries in the same house is kind of tough because execution becomes tough if you're both visionaries, but Laura also has an implementation side to her. So she started to get these properties done. And this was from way back, we first started even dating. She took over these projects and ran with them because she loved the aspect of taking an ugly house and making it pretty. Has always had a background in interior design. That's her thing. We were both real estate agents for nearly 20 years. Okay, so we know the market inside and out. With that being said, she knows what sells. Okay, so from there, we grew and we grew and we grew. Remember the little dog story, that the children's book where the dog gets too big to live in the house? Well, that was our flipping operation. We were the big red dog. We went from doing 1 flip at a time to 2 at a time to one day we woke up and we were sitting on 6, 7 properties at the same time. And the level of stress that required was immensely high. We realized we needed help. Okay, so we started to build a team underneath us. We got a project manager, a project coordinator, we got an accounting department. We started building all these pieces, but like flying an aircraft, okay, trying to work on the aircraft while it is currently flying is extremely difficult, right? So we got ourselves in a jam pretty quickly. 22 happened. Okay, so we're talking about our best years were 2020, which everybody thought was going to be a bad year because of COVID. Turned out to be one of the greatest years in real estate history, and that was definitely the case for us. We were targeting 50 properties that year. We managed to do 40 houses despite losing a full quarter to COVID, where things were all shut down and we couldn't do showings or sell property. And I thought it was going to wipe us out, but it didn't. Okay, came out of that gangbusters because prices were going up by the day, and we made a ton of money on the way out of that. 21, we continued that momentum, did very well, did the infamous Springs Hell House that made the national news. We were on CNN and Fox, and a bunch of people interviewed us on TV to ask us about this incredible flip that we had done. Honestly, it was just a day's work for us, but because it was presented so well by the agent back then, it did a great job, made the national news. We bought it. It really capitalized on that fame. Into 22, we were on track to hit 60 units. We ended up at 45 units for the year because right about halfway through 22, the bottom fell out of the market. Interest rates didn't go up a little bit. They went up a lot, and it got very difficult, almost impossible to sell property. People didn't know what to do going from 3% interest rates up to 6 and even 7%. It was over for a while. Okay. But what we took away from that is that there was a transition point from where we needed to be on finding, analyzing, and funding deals to the construction side, which Laura was attempting to run on her own, and it didn't work out because it's an impossible amount of work. We had this massive team at that point, overhead, salaries, office space, had to let people go. It really was like our own private hell. The best way to put it is it was an absolute disaster. Unfortunately, as work can do, it had a negative impact on our marriage, right? So for a while there, we were struggling to just be together. And that was kind of the real issue, is that we couldn't function in this environment because things were not going well and our personal life were impacted on it. The takeaway from that is why we're sitting here today. Sometime in late 22, early 23, I realized that I had a skill set, a talent for helping people to do foreclosure deals. And we translated that to the foreclosure deals coach system. We worked on ourselves in a couple, everything improved. We're doing better now. Okay. But here we are now where we have 39 clients in the system, and we are doing the remodels with individual investors doing one deal at a time. We're back to 7 or 8 deals at a time. If you watch the show regularly, you saw we had Lily on the show. She's our top of the line ops manager. She works with the contractors, but we're hitting a stage where we're getting overwhelmed again. Okay, so here we are today, and I went out, okay, where do we get help for people who understand what this model is, how you work with contractors, but ultimately what the vision is, take an ugly house and make it pretty. Who understands that? And the term came up, the remodeling consultant. And I guess I'd heard it before, but I never really taken the time to grasp it. But these are a group of people who have made their business working with people who are looking to remodel their home. Seems kind of obvious, right? And in the flooring store that we own, Lifestyle Floors, out in the east end of town, we're finding that a lot of people are coming in looking for flooring, either because they're at the beginning of a remodeling phase and they know the flooring is to be part of it, or they're at the end of a remodeling phase and the last piece they want to do the flooring. In either case, along the way, they needed or currently need help with remodeling. Why do you need help with that? Well, what I like to go off of is start with the end in mind. Okay. And what that means is you must have a very clear vision of what you want before you get going, especially when you're remodeling a house. Because if you just go in and go, that's ugly, make it pretty, that's ugly, make it pretty, you're going to spend way more than you think you are. Okay, you're going to do things out of order, and when you do things out of order, it's kind of like putting the tires on before you put the wheels on, right? You want to make sure that you're doing this in an order of operations that's going to be the least resistance to getting this process done. You don't want to install the paint or paint the property until you fix the drywall. Pretty obvious, right? And you don't want to put the trim on or the flooring in until you've done the paint. So there's an order. Well, this remodeling consultant field is setting up all over the country because people can now get advice digitally. We do a 3D tour, a Matterport tour of the property, and now people all over can offer their advice on how to take the property from an ugly home to a pretty home. Okay, we are doing remodeling consulting internally with the Foreclosure Deals Coach system, but now that we need assistance, we're bringing in outside remodeling consultants to assist Lily and the ops team with getting this order of operations set up and helping to manage the process. And they're freelance, so I don't have to bring them in on salary, and you as an investor don't want a full-time employee to help you do this, right? You want to pay somebody $60,000 a year to help you through one flip. That's not going to be profitable. Right? So instead, you can hire a freelance remodeling consultant. Laura is pretty much a remodeling consultant. I'm married to a remodeling consultant. We've done 400 flips in my entire career. Laura was there for most of them, not all of them, but she's been around and been my remodeling consultant. But now that we understand that field, that work, we're bringing in more help in that space and able to scale faster for the clients. And ultimately, that is the goal. We're looking to take all the problem children out of the flipping process. Okay. One of the biggest problem children most people have are locating deals. If you've got a day job, you need to understand that it takes both time and money to find good deals. They're not sitting there waiting for you to show up. When we get an opportunity to buy a deal, we act within minutes. If you told me there's a property for sale that's at the right price, I saw one on Facebook from my boy Derek posted a property on there, looks solid. You know, we're buying in the 260 range. It's probably worth 370, 375. I immediately responded, hey, when can I go see this? I'm interested. About 2 hours later, property sold. And I'm not mad at him. If somebody gets there before I do, that's how this market works. It's very competitive. Okay, that's the nature of the business. The good deals aren't sitting around. You also have to be able to analyze the deal relatively quickly. And most people, having never done analysis and dealing with 50, 60,000 of their hard-earned money to put into a property, do not have the courage, if you will, to do the analysis at all, much less do it quickly. So we're walking through that with you. Finally, the funding. We have to pay for the property. We got to get the money to do it. Hard money lenders don't like to work with rookies because the risk for them is much higher. So they would prefer you came in with a coach, somebody standing beside you. This was the secret sauce to me getting my first deals done, is I worked with a coach who helped me to do these deals, right? Because he lended his experience to it. And the lender's like, well, if you're working with this guy, I know you're less likely to get in hot water. So yeah, I'll give you the money you need to do the deal, right? And then the fixing part really starts. And that's obviously the most moving parts, arguably one of the hardest parts of it, but it's a process like anything else. And if you follow that process, you can get through it much faster. Okay, so we're bringing in and becoming a remodeling consulting firm in addition to the coaching aspect of it. It's all inclusive. Okay, it's not a separate product line or any of that, but what you're getting is a remodeling consultant on your team who's going to help you through getting the property from ugly to pretty, because most people, A, don't know anything about it, okay, and B, also don't have the time to manage it. The idea behind flipping a property with my system is that you keep your day job. You continue to do whatever it is that makes you money full time. So the flipping is just side hustle income that could easily be 25 grand per deal, 4 times per year, or $100,000 extra in your pocket. Is it going to be easy? No, right? Is it going to be fun? Probably not, but can it be super profitable? Do you find investing in a mutual fund fun or easy, or buying Apple stock? No, you find it to be an investment, okay? And this is an investment vehicle just like any other, but different in the capacity that it's a very high reward system. Right? You have to really understand how this model works for you to understand how to be profitable. So I help you with that. As your foreclosure deals coach, we walk you through all the steps, find, figure, fund, fix, and flip. Then once you're done with the fix, we introduce you to the agent. They're giving you a stellar discount for the marketing system that gets that property sold. And we're in a marketplace where just listing it and forgetting it is not going to work anymore. You got to do open houses. You got to shoot video. You got to add content to it if you're going to get it sold quickly. So the combination of all of those things makes for a profitable experience for you. And if the experience is profitable, then there's a high probability that you're going to do it again. Right? So in my perfect world, if I get the right team, including the remodeling consultant, to help you do the deal, you are going to do this 3 or 4 times a year. My team and I are making a piece of every deal you do, right? In the assignment fee in the initial stages. So that fee, in addition to the coaching fee, is what the profit from this system is really made up of. Right? So these are the pieces that make up the foreclosure profit system. The big part of this is the remodeling consultant. So getting back to that a little bit, as a remodeling consultant, their job is to generate the scope of work and the construction estimate so we know what it needs to look like. Now, there's software like 2020 design software is what it's called. It's an architectural software that basically gives you the renderings, the visual images of what the property needs to look for. We have to get a 3D Matterport tour to create that rendering. So we start at the Matterport, we recreate it in digital form, and now we've got the end product in mind. From there, we build the scope of work or what needs to happen for the property to look like the rendering. And then from there, we build a construction estimate to determine what that's supposed to cost, right? And the timeline. How long is it going to take, right? So we get all those things put together, and then we go to work from there to get you the best experience possible and get that property fixed and then flipped at a profit. The better we are at doing this job, the more deals the clients are going to do. The more deals the clients do, the more money we're going to make, the more money the clients are going to make. It's a very synergistic system where everybody benefits when things go well. Do things always go well? They do not. This is a process. It's not that easy. Right? It is super profitable because most people can't do it. So we make the difficult as easy as we can. We facilitate you in getting through the process. And when you do deals, you keep the profit on the back end and ideally do as many deals as you want to advance your life through real estate investing. All right. So remodeling consultants are a big part of the team now. Lily's our primary consultant on the team now, but we're going to be adding on to that, getting more people to help out because we've got so many clients doing deals at the moment that we need to get some assistance in getting these deals done faster, more efficiently, less costly, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, so we can do more deals with our clients. Is that awesome? Is that not an awesome thing? Right? The world, the dynamic of the world where people can work virtually and have such an impact. You know, we spent a little time in Pueblo. I spent a lot of time in Pueblo now, but we were in Pueblo a few days ago and we had a break-in at one of the properties, which unfortunately is not uncommon in Pueblo. They have a lot of crime issues. We went to the police station. We're talking to an officer there and he's like, hey, we're here to help, obviously, because they're police, but we're really here to help investors down here because we understand that fixing the crime and drug problem in any area is highly dependent on fixing some of the dilapidated, rundown neighborhoods and homes where that criminal element is attracted to. Okay, so this is more than about making money. This is about affecting life change for communities, for investors, for homeowners, people who want to buy a house, but they have to buy something affordable. Well, the affordable places are generally in the up and coming neighborhoods, right? You're not getting affordable in the Broadmoor, right? You're not getting affordable in Briargate, where I grew up. Those are very expensive areas because they're established. The affordable homes are in the less expensive areas, and we are helping homeowners to get into those areas who may not have had an opportunity because they don't want to buy a house and spend 50 grand fixing it up. They're first-time home buyers. They don't have that kind of money. But this police officer was very grateful that investors are coming into the Pueblo community and working through these problems because he knows as a peace officer that this is a critical element in changing the Pueblo dynamic. And we're just proud to be a part of it. In addition to that, we make a lot of money doing it, but it's not just about the money. It is largely about having that life impact, impacting that change in communities that otherwise may just sit there. And Pueblo's been sitting there for a decade with issues and problems, et cetera, because nobody wants to go to Pueblo, right? I don't really want to be in Pueblo, but that's where the money is for my investors. That's where the opportunities are right now. And that's where the first-time home buyer looking to buy a house below $300,000 needs to live right now if they live in the Colorado area. That's just where they're going to end up. Okay, so things are changing in Pueblo. We are part of that change. We are helping people to get into homes. And with these remodeling consultants helping us to really see the vision and dialing that in. Listen, I can't be everything to everybody. So what I did is form a team of people that works for my clients to get the best result. When you're buying into the foreclosure profit system, yes, you're getting my guidance and advice and coaching. That's a part of it. But you're also getting a team of experts in every step of the 5 F's that can help you to get through the process faster, cheaper, more efficiently, and more profitably. Okay. So really, as long as you're doing deals, the investment in the foreclosure profit system and the coaching that comes with it is a no-brainer, as long as you're doing deals. If you're coming into this to get education, it's not going to be that beneficial. Okay. I know there's a lot of great educators out there. I know that education is critical, and I'm not knocking that out there, but some of the gurus, you look at the example I use is Stan Merrill, flies into town every summer. He does this big conference where he's talking about learn about flipping houses and get invested in real estate investing. He charges $30,000 to $40,000 for his course. He hands you a work at his next location. Okay, that I'm not knocking it. I understand the value of the education, but for my investors, my clients, we're looking for people who actually want to do actual deals. We find those deals every day. We do the analysis on those deals, make sure we have our rehab budgets lined up, make sure we know what we're going to sell the property at prior to purchasing it. We do all those pieces. And then when we put all the pieces together, we present it to you as the client, as an offering where you can decide if you want to do it or not. But if you decide to do it, we help you get the funding, help you fix it, help you to sell it. Right? So that's the idea behind the entire system. It's not an education program. I do want to teach people how to do this, but the goal right out of the gate is let's just do deals. You'll learn a lot more from doing them than you will learning about them. Right? So that's the goal. That's the benefit of the program as we have it set up. So how do you get involved? Well, listen, as always, slide up in my DMs. So let's have a conversation. If you've got some capital to invest, and I got to be clear, you need somewhere between $40,000 and $50,000 liquid to actually do a deal right now. Where do you get that? You can use your IRA funds. If you got cash, if you got equity in your home, you can pull that equity out to invest in this, but you got to have money to do the deal. The coaching has a cost, and you got to have the money to do a deal. Okay. So if you don't have that liquidity, this is probably not the right fit for you right now. Maybe you need to head the education route. And I've got a course that's much more cost effective that can help you through the education so you can get the knowledge that you need. So when you do have the capital, you're ready to go. Okay. But if you're in a position financially where you can do a deal, I'd like to talk to you about it because we're finding deals all over. We're definitely providing those to our clients and servicing the clients first, but we have room to take on new clients. And let's face it, the economy is shifting right now. Okay. We're in an election season. There are more opportunities coming to the market post-election than we're ever going to be able to do. Okay, a lot of them are going to be in Pueblo. We're still finding deals in the Springs. We're finding deals all over Colorado, but we're mostly focused in Colorado Springs and Pueblo, with a lot of it being in Pueblo because those are the affordable homes that are going to be easier to sell in the back end because they're less expensive. Okay, so if this describes you, you want to get a remodeling consultant on your team, you want someone to help you to do a deal and start making some money semi-passively in real estate investing, then I would love to chat with you about it. That's what the program is all about, and I hope you become a part of it. All right. That's kind of our show for today. Unless you guys have some questions, let's hop on and check out if there's any comments. No comments, questions at this point. Listen, I'm here. Okay. Let's chat about it. No pressure. Let's discuss where and when this is the right fit for you and how to get you started. The opportunities are there. I'm finding them every single day, and I can help get you into a deal within 30 days or less. You just got to get signed up for the coaching program. With that, this is Donny Coram, your Foreclosure Deals Coach. Thanking you so much for tuning in each and every week to the Foreclosure Deals Coach podcast, and reminding you now and always, don't buy a house, buy a deal.